I was very successful within the time that I was there. Every year, I made Summit, President's Circle awards. Top rank associate, top 3% in a company in Houston. It was a phenomenal run.
Welcome everybody to episode 2 of Processing the Process. I have another special guest that I want to introduce you guys to. She is an incredible person that has done amazing things over the past 3 or 4 years. I know you've been grinding for a very long time, but I can really see the payoff in the last couple of years, and I'm excited for people to understand your story, understand your journey, know where you came from, know where you are, know where you're going, and all that good stuff. So, without further ado, I want you to, Erica, introduce yourself. Tell everyone who you are, where you come from, a little bit of your origin story, if you will.
Okay, sounds good. So, my name is Erica Candley, originally from New Orleans. Hey, who that? I always represent my home team, the Saints.
Absolutely.
But I was born in New Orleans, of course. Came here to Houston by way of Katrina, unfortunately, like a lot of people. Some people decided to make Houston home, and that's kind of what I did. I started my home here. I started my family here. I had a job. So I've been in Houston for, Katrina has literally been, I don't know, it was what?
No, what year was that? Katrina, I mean, it seems like...
Katrina was in 05.
05? Okay.
So we are, what? Man.
Yeah, 2019.
Ooh, it's like 14 years.
So I came to Houston in 2007.
Right.
2006, 2007.
Yeah.
So we was out here just the year before.
Exactly.
Obviously, Katrina hit, and you planted your flag, and...
Yeah, so I've been in Houston ever since, and it's just crazy because, like I said, I'm saying this like so surreal. Like, it's 14 years already that I've been here. I would have never thought I would be in Houston that long.
Absolutely.
But I've been afforded a few opportunities, and this is where I'm at. This is where home is for now. I don't know if this is going to be my final destination, but this is where I make my bread and butter. This is where I have my friends and my family, and I have extended family. My immediate family has kind of been spread out since Katrina.
Absolutely.
My mom's in Chicago. My sister's in med school at Howard. But here, this is home.
I didn't know she was at Howard.
Yeah, she's almost done.
The other HU.
Yeah, she's almost done. She's
I attended Hampton, so.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Not too long ago, just had a homecoming, so I know she was.
Yeah, unfortunately, she was in New Orleans for homecoming.
Oh, she was? Okay.
Yeah, she's doing some training for her medical. She's studying to be a neurosurgeon. So she's almost done. Come on, Remy, finish, please. Because I want to pass the torch. I've been grinding, like we said, for a while now.
So talk about it. So you have a sister. So give us the backstory. You grew up in New Orleans, and
I grew up in New
what
Orleans.
What kind of kid were you? What kind of student were you?
Whoa! We going back. Okay, everybody has
just a little bit, like
obviously, so
being an entrepreneur now, it's always, in my opinion, good to see where they started. Right?
Yeah.
They were selling candy, or they were good in school, not good in school.
I'll give you a little bit. Yeah, no, that's a good point. So, I went to school in New Orleans. I went to Mount Carmel Academy, graduated from Redeemer Seton High School. And during my journey in high school, the kid I was very precocious. My mama would tell you I've probably tried everything under the sun.
In terms of what? Like
everything.
Just trying to get over on somebody, or starting a business?
Trying to get over. Like, I wanted to be out. Like, I wanted to, I remember this. It's crazy now because I have a son.
Yep.
But my mom was like, just wait till you have a son. You want to be grown, you think, and I was like, no, I want to move out. I want to pay bills. I was like, yeah, give me that life.
Couldn't wait to get older.
Yeah. Now I'm like, mama, right?
I feel you.
Seriously. So, went to grade school, great education, private school. I was raised by my mom and my stepdad. I know my biological father, but my stepdad had been in my life for 2 years. Unfortunately, he recently passed this past August. Unexpected, but that's life. But I had a very fortunate childhood. My mom, unfortunately dropped out of high school to have me. She was 16 years old when she had me. Single mom at the time. Like I said, I knew who my dad is, have a relationship with my biological father, but they were distant. My family in its entirety is a big family. I have a big support system, grandparents, multiple. People used to tease me like, "Oh my God, you got how many dads do you have?" I was like, "Okay, y'all laughing while y'all getting one Christmas gift. I'm getting like a dozen. If y'all want to be funny."
That just means you had a larger village to.
I did. I had
help you in your development.
And I really wish people would listen to take heed to that. I'm not saying broken families is the way to go, but my family was broken, but it was also mending my heart, in a sense where it helped mold the person I am today. Seriously.
Understood. So what do you, I know I don't want to get too far off topic because I know a lot of this is about your process, but I want to get the backstory and the backdrop to show where you are today. Do you look at what could be seen as downfalls and necessarily negatives in your life more so as positives, or do you look at them as, I don't want to share that, I don't want to say that, it's a bad time in my life, I don't like to look at it? Like,
I think I used to look at it that way because, again, I think we all have a different phase of, maturity or development or evolution, whatever your process is. But for me, it's just a journey. It's a path that I'm on, and life is kind of just working its way out. And I don't look at it as a negative, if you would. I definitely think it definitely has taught me a lot. I have learned through everything that I have been through.
I agree. I like I said this on my last show, I call it chips, like chips on your shoulder. Like people, I feel like if you can lean into your chips, the negative, the things that, I believe in 2019 we're a little bit more open in talking about mental health and
we have to be
speaking about, I look at Cardi B as a positive for me because she speaks her truth. She doesn't run away from it. It is what it is. She wears it on her shoulder, but I think people give her admiration and love her for that because she's not scared to talk about that, which could be a chip on her shoulder and a reason why. But those chips, in my opinion, can be positives to get you going. It's like, you know what, I had to overcome this.
You're absolutely right.
Make me much better.
And if we're going to talk about being authentic, I think that's really where, that's the now, that's the present, that's also the future. Because I work in media, but I always tell people, just be transparent, be organic as you possibly can, because people can see through the bullshit.
Absolutely.
Excuse my French.
No.
So they can see it. And a lot of times in media, one of the things we always talk about, like you're telling me now, let's talk about the backstory. We want people to hear your story, because my story is really a testimony to someone else.
Absolutely.
And the problem that we have, just as people, and specifically African American, we don't like to share things that we may feel may be embarrassing.
I think it's also in our culture. If you speaking real about the African American growing up, the experience, if you will, you're almost told, not even say almost, so you are told, don't talk about what goes on in this house.
Zip it.
Keep it closed lip.
Yep.
And
I was a part of it. I mean, I was raising exactly. So, and I tell my son now, you talk.
Yeah.
You feel comfortable. I don't care how embarrassed you may feel. I don't care what you think I might say. You have a voice, and I don't shut him down. Mama is not going to shut you down. I need you to be expressive. And again, he's a product of, unfortunately, a broken home now. Went through recently a divorce. But out of all of that, what I share is love. I express love. So just to go back to what you were asking me, based on how I was raised, going through that broken family, but being raised by my stepdad and having multiple grandparents, it was a lot of love there. Yeah. So although the situation from the outside looked like we're a broken family, when you were in my family, you could see the love. I could feel the love. And I think that's why I'm such a strong-minded person, and it's very hard to break me. Or when I have down moments, I always revert back to some of my childhood memories where I could remember that feeling, if you would.
100%.
So it carries me, and it does. It transfers into everything that I do as a mother, into my work environment, into my relationships, my networking. All of that, it comes with it.
Exactly, and that's a part of your journey. That's a part of your process.
Absolutely.
So learning more, obviously, about your childhood and the love that you had, and wanting to grow up and do your own thing, and probably had your hands in a lot of different businesses. Like, talk to us a little bit about your role today, what it is that you do, your company. Tell us about what you're doing currently in 2019.
Okay, so that's, like I said, that was a journey. I after Katrina, it was just like, oh my God, devastation. Lost everything, started over. My mom was a CEO of a hospital, and I was literally raising my sister because she was traveling back and forth to Houston while I was still trying to rebuild in New Orleans. And I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. But, like I said, you're sometimes forced into situations to make you the person that you are today. And it really built me to be a person that is somewhat independent, but I'm definitely like a go-getter. Like, I find a way to make things happen. That is my strength. But I always tell people, I'm a pause to say that's my strength, but I never we got to never forget to check on the strong friend, because again, mental health is important. Because
Absolutely.
even when I was going through some things, and even my separation, people was like, we didn't know you did this, and you look happy, because I carry myself well.
Yeah.
But people suffer in silence, and I was one of those people. But I learned to write. I write a lot. I take notes. I write more than I've ever done before as a way to cope.
Has that always been something that you've always?
No.
So you developed that, or learned that that's a good way for you to
Yes,
process?
and a lot of times it was because of several things, but mental abuse, physical abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I was shut down verbally. And then I would find myself, putting it in my phone. But then in my phone, it's just there. But I found it to be more soothing when I could write it.
More therapeutic for you.
Absolutely. So that was something that came way later,
Gotcha.
way later. But where I am now in my career is that I was working at, I backtrack, Katrina Kaplan. I was working at AT&T. I was there for about 6.5 years. And even then, it was like my first telecommunications job. And I got in when it was hot. When I say it was hot, AT&T exclusively carried the iPhone.
So you were on the sales side in the store.
I was on the
went
sales
to go
side,
in the
yes.
store and buy a phone.
Absolutely.
I was talking to Erica.
Absolutely, but I was at the AT&T Experience Store, which is the Compact Center, which is right off of 59 and Southwest Freeway, which is like their flagship back in the day. So exclusively at that moment, we had the iPhone. And when I tell you,
Still
but
to this day.
AT&T had it exclusively.
Yep,
No other
nobody
provider
carried it.
carried it. So when I tell you the grass was greener on the other side, I was making some money, right? So it was great traveling. Met my now ex-husband at the time. We were doing some things, just living life, and it was a good time, because again, after going through such a tumultuous event as Katrina, I needed that. I needed something to kind of revive me and reburn that energy inside of me. So that was that starting point for me. And AT&T, it afforded me more opportunities. Telecommunications, phones, everybody has to have a phone, right? Before it was like, oh, it's a want. No, it's a necessity now. It's amazing
it's
how
modern day. It's the way we communicate for everything.
But society has changed that, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
So, I literally had so many people come into the store. I met a lot of people, athletes, celebrities, normal people, everyday people. But I network. When they came into the store and had a conversation with Erica about, hey, I'm here to get a phone, I was tapping into more than them just buying a phone from me. I was trying to develop relationships with people, build rapport. That was something I was always taught.
Okay,
That's
so
something that came from my background too.
So when they came in the store to purchase a phone, you made it a point to dig deeper. Was that a part of your pitch, or was your nature just
That's
to learn
just my
more
nature.
and just
That's
wanted
my
to
nature, because
network?
like I said, that came from my upbringing,
Gotcha.
right? My family's very loving, and we want to know people, and even down south in New Orleans, it's hospitable, right?
Yeah,
It's like down, come on,
Yep,
everybody come over,
hospitality.
we spend the night. Oh, like, who's all these people in my house? That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, that just genuinely, and anybody that knows me, my friends, my family, my associates, my coworkers, they will tell you the aura that I possess is literally like that. It's genuine. It's like, okay, hey, you come in. Yeah, you come in for a phone, right?
Yeah.
But you never know who you may encounter. And that really was what I would think about every day. And every day, it's a choice. You go to work, everybody's like, oh, you work for a company. It's the same thing every day. You're just selling cell phones. No, you can change how your day is formatted.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I sold cell phones,
I
but
agree.
how I interacted was not the same every day. My approach in going to work was not the same every day. My success in work was not the same every day. It was up to me.
What was the goal? So obviously, I know at that time it had to be make as much money as possible, flip and get as many phones out the door as possible,
Right. Yes.
increase your paycheck
Yes.
as much as possible.
Yes.
But was there another drive behind that developed while you were there? Rather, it was
I felt that I was
Like, tell me
young.
what was
So
your-
I really felt that I was young, and young in a sense where, for me, where I'm from,
Yeah.
at the age and the company that I work for and the amount of money that I was making at that time,
Uh-huh.
you're right. I was just thinking short term at that point. I was like,
Okay.
oh, I'm grinding, I'm getting this money, I'm making a lot of money for my age, and things just kind of happened, right?
Mhm.
Met my husband, started a family, and just things just kind of unfolded. But long term, I saw a path of success with AT&T at that time.
Okay.
I always was saying, again, when you're somewhere, life is about change. It's about evolution. If you don't evolve, you stay stuck, you get stagnant.
Stagnant.
So one thing about me when I was going to work and the success that I was having, because it was natural to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was very successful within the time that I was there. Every year, I made Summit, President's Circle, awards, top rank associate, top 3% in a company in Houston. It was a phenomenal run.
Now I know you have a story that goes beyond just this small portion where it started at AT&T, but before we go into the next couple of phases, I think it's important, and I really want to talk about the process, because for you to spit off some of your accomplishments really quickly,
Yeah.
I think it can go over people's head just to hear about the successes you had. If you can, in a short amount of time, however you can convey that to anyone who's listening, what did you do differently in order to reach those successes within the company? Because it's not, it sounds easy. Yeah, somebody may listen.
What I'm gonna tell
this
you,
iPhone, everybody didn't make it.
Let me
you
tell
made
you.
it.
What I'm gonna tell you is not gonna shock you, but it was a philosophy that I did. I was consistent.
Consistency is
Just,
key.
I
Consistency.
promise you, consistency is key. You have to be consistent. So again, every day, if I had a bad day, I didn't let that bad day affect the next day.
Right.
My goals were my goals that I had to accomplish. So I set short-term and long-term goals.
To me, talk about those little. I know I'm going to get into the weeds. If you can recall, what were some of the little stuff that you did that your coworkers didn't do, but you knew that if I do this two things now in the next year, I'll
give it to you. So AT&T, again, you sold cell phones, but AT&T just wasn't a cell phone provider. They had many other solutions that we were technically could pitch, whether it was business solutions, home solutions. There was other things outside of
just the wireless.
Just correct. So the goals may have been here, but you can reach accelerators by tapping into some of those other things. So I never stopped with one point of sale. I was always thinking of a one-stop shop solution, because if I could be that expert that provided that one-stop shop, I have now built rapport, I've built relationship, and I've built longevity, and that is important. That's where the consistency became, because I'm like, okay, I've done this, they're going to come back to me, and that's where my coworkers, they would get up, they were turning faster.
Yeah.
So they were worried about quantity, and we hear about this in sales and not about quality. My goal has always been quality and quality, but quality outbeat my quantity, because when I was doing quality work, it was quantifying automatically. So it was blessing me just by doing the right thing and taking time with those folks. When I tell
you built,
and I wasn't burning myself out. Where I would see my coworkers burning themselves out and sometimes still not making it. And I'm looking, they're like, well, what are you doing? And I just kept the consistent approach. But I set those goals, short-term and long-term. But at the end of the day, I was a quality expert, right? I understood the value of building a relationship. If they left with me and I did what I was supposed to do from A to Z, guess what? Miss Mary was telling Miss Betty was telling Jack was telling Frida. It didn't matter.
Everybody was coming to you because you built that reputation.
Absolutely.
More than anything, you built the reputation.
And I would have, and again, at that time, like I said, iPhone was exclusive. The waits in the stores were horrific. I would have people literally wait 30, 40 minutes for Erica. At that young age, when someone's waiting for your time, it slowed me down. It was like, you know what, I gotta value this. And I took it very seriously, because at the end of the day, I was like, you know what, they're responsible for putting money in my pocket.
Yep.
Yes, it's my intellect, my abilities, my skill set, but they have to pay for what they need. So I need to meet them halfway.
Absolutely.
How do I do that? Quality. Consistency.
That's
key.
That's very key in consistency.
Facts.
Even as no matter what you do, if you're an athlete, this podcast, for example, I have to be consistent with this podcast and this video and the channel. And
Man, I promise you,
it's all about consistency.
When you approached me about it, I said the same thing. I'm like, hey, this is a good concept. But it's only going to be as good as you allow it to be. Absolutely. And the only way that you're going to allow it to do is you stay focused and you keep going.
And it's all a part of the process.
That's
this is my journey.
That's it.
So fast forward. So you're at AT&T for 6 years.
About 6.5 years.
Did you were you promoted within AT&T?
I was promoted.
Okay.
A lot of times.
So what was your
I started off as a part-time salesperson.
Started off part-time.
I did part-time. I did home solutions. I did assistant manager. I did B2B. store manager, and then general sales manager. So I ran a store.
So
Was the
last gig that you had?
Correct, in Katy, Texas at the time. Yes, I worked several different stores. I worked at the Experience store, which was the Compact Center. I worked at a store on Main Street. I worked at 2 stores in the Katy area, but I finally finished in the Katy market, or Katy, Texas.
Understood.
Running as a general sales manager of one of those stores. And it was great. And honestly, it's funny because I was making a lot of money and I resigned. I left AT&T, and it wasn't because, like you said, what was next? At that point, I felt that I had reached the pinnacle with AT&T. AT&T, as you know, those positions are vetted, and people that have them, they're tenured in those positions, right? So, when I was, Upward Mobility would have said I could be a director of sales, but people that was in that role had been in that role and they were successful in that role. Okay. So when it came to a level of career advancement past where I was, the door was narrow. Right. Gotcha. So for me, it was more like, okay, I would have to explore opportunities on the markets, and I wasn't looking to do that at that time.
I was still kind of close to home.
I was close to home, close to family. I had just built my family here, built the home here. So the timing of it just wasn't beneficial to me. Perfect. So I literally, and I left on good terms, and it's amazing because I still, again, relationships. I still have the same relationships with some of those people. Not only that, some of the same people from cell phones. This was business and cell phones, or my customer in a different era and genre in what I do, which is a total different genre and category today. Because of your relationships, your reputation, and the way that you conducted yourself as a business person. Absolutely. And just as a person, as a human. Because business is one thing. But people can, when you go in, like I tell people, you cut the facade. Yeah. I still got to get to know you, right? And that's why I said it was past, I really genuinely tried to know, I'm going to throw out a name. One of my clients was Scott Bourmaster, and I remember them vividly. Okay. Scott Bourmaster, even Scarface. I met both of them while working at AT&T. Both became business clients, helped their family. But this was outside of work. Even Lexus. I'll give you, I purchased my first Lexus, I don't remember when, but Steve Mahan was my sales associate. He came into AT&T with a problem. Everybody was running from the problem. I said, I'll take this head on. Not to know he would be the next person that got me qualified and put me, when I say red carpet rollout for my car, my Lexus. And it was strictly off a relationship that I encountered with him, offering a solution for a problem that everybody wanted to run away from. And then just being kind and not, you probably saw it as an opportunity, but also you saw him as a human being, as a person. Somebody needs to help him. I have the capability to help him. We all had a capability of helping, right? It's like I said, it's what you choose to do. Yep. And that choice set me up for something else that God already had prepared. Yep. And that's just how the universe works. I was like, oh my God, you work for who? Great, oh my God. And when I tell you that opened up a new car, that opened up Lexus lounge seats at the Houston Rockets game, it went on. And it led one Lexus to another Lexus. Not only that, it led to another relationship and referrals. It's amazing how that process, if you would, works. Absolutely. So you resigned. Yeah. AT&T on your own. Yeah. Good terms. Made great relationships. They still, you want to come back? Hey, as a consultant, I'll come back as a consultant. I made good money consulting. Absolutely. So what did you do after you left AT&T? What was the next role for you? Honestly, at that point, I didn't have no solid plan. I had a little bit of retirement. I'm gonna retire at under 30. Hold on now, wait a minute, I wasn't ready for that. But again, fresh starting a family, so I knew I needed to work, right? And I enjoy working. But some people are like, at that point, I didn't mind the hustle, the grind. You thrived in it. Like it was successful. It was easy, right? It wasn't. It really wasn't. I enjoyed it. So I wound up taking I wanted to develop some other skills. So what I will say is, as I've taken or been successful in certain roles, I always look for where could I challenge myself a little bit more, right? And at the time, my husband at the time, he was in outside sales, B2B, and I was like, I can do that. Yeah. Let me try that. Yep. Shit. I'm not built for outside sales. Okay, so I did. I worked for a company called Pacific Communication, coming from the communication background. Yep. Thought that would be great. Good segue for you. Ooh, no. Outside, when I say outside, business, knocking on, getting kicked out of buildings, no. Yep. Erica does not like rejection. I don't like no. I have learned through my process to overcome no's. which has been also part of my success. I quickly identify I don't like rejection, I don't like no's.
Understood.
So when I'm
Most
hit with
people
those, but most people will settle for it.
True.
I don't settle for
Very
it.
true.
Because I've learned that if I received a no or gotten a rejection, I probably didn't hit them with a solution that benefited them.
So why do you feel like you weren't set up for success in a outside sales role?
Training. It just wasn't
for you,
something
it was
that
training.
absolutely. It wasn't something that I was trained in. A lot of things in work, depending on, like I said, your natural abilities or your skill set, is learned behavior, right? You learn things. You learn them through training classes. You learn them through on-site coaching or shadowing somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that. I literally saw, okay, my husband, he was built for that at the moment.
Yeah.
He was doing well. I was like, oh, it can't be that hard.
Yeah.
And then I watched people, and then I was looking at the money side, and I liked the opportunity to go out, come back, and kind of, at that point, it was gearing me to learn how, back then, how entrepreneurs really work. An entrepreneur's role is similar to an outside a B2B in a sense, because they have to manage a book of business, they have to plan their day, they have to time management, have to there's a lot to do. So I picked up on some of those assets going through that when I quickly identified that's not for me, but I quickly learned what was for me.
Gotcha.
Exactly. And that continued to open the door. And I've always been, like I said, I've been a good character of aura where I can build rapport. And I've gotten people to, even if they didn't want to buy, they bought.
Gotcha.
So somewhere within my natural ability, my skill set, my sales pitch, I was able to bundle, upgrade, and that worked in my favor. And I'll say that because I then, after doing Telcific, I went to a company, Reach Local, which was a Google affiliate.
Okay.
And at the time, they were transitioning, revamping the company. I'm like, oh, wow, Google. I'm like, Google training, getting firsthand experience really in the marketing world, which is honestly the scheme behind a lot of things. Business is marketing.
So what was you doing in that role?
So I was similar outside sales, but also inside. But I was doing a lot of account managing accounts once I sold to those accounts and growing the account upward.
Okay.
So it allowed me to take, like you said, some of those skills that I had previously honed and grow my business from there.
Gotcha.
Right? And it was good because, again, making money, but it was now going into a niche that I already thrived in.
So you're more comfortable.
I was more comfortable. I was like, okay, I can see myself in the role, and I was fine. I was doing well at Reach Local. They had went through several changes. The president changed. Company was going through some things. And I left there, voluntarily in a sense, still on good terms. Yeah. I was actually recruited by another company, which is KPRC Channel 2 television at the time, to help start their digital department, because at Reach Local, I was purely dealing with digital media and marketing. Most companies at this time, which is around 2013, 2014, this is when the whole digital era was coming to fruition. Yeah. Big time.
Now it's like,
now it's like,
think about, how was it 5-6 years ago?
Yeah, but back when I was starting,
on.
These projections was already in place that this was going to happen. So I was given that torch to lead it and to understand it and to say, okay, I can thrive. If I can get ahead of it, I'm going to win. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. I was able to get ahead of it. I worked for Channel 2. I helped with their digital department. Was there, very successful. And again, when you are successful, people pay attention. Even when I'm literally just doing my job.
Yep.
You will be amazed how many eyes were on you. I had people
if you do what you do well, you do it right. People,
they pay attention.
No matter what you like, they
pay attention.
It's hard
that's
not to.
That's fair. And that's why I say, even as a child, like they be like, you Eric Tart, Elora's Tart granddaughter. I'm like, how y'all know? Something about. I'm like, dang, you say your name. Like I say, your name. People
absolutely
identify. Absolutely. So that's literally what happened with Channel 2. I was there. I was successful.
How long were you there for?
I was there for almost a year. Not quite a year.
But again, learning more skills, picking up new traits, things that.
Making good money, building more relationships, building now some of my affiliate relationships that I would now later take. Again, it's been a building block. That everything where God, I'm gonna put it that way, where God started me from, it just started to level up, and keep growing but they were just stepping stones
Yep.
to one another, right? So it's like, oh,
No, I hear you.
okay, so we
I
have a
hear you.
stair, and we starting at the bottom. Like I felt after Katrina, I was at the bottom, and every time I was just climbing up those stairs,
And
right?
Getting better,
And better and better.
learning more about your process, your journey.
But even in that process, right? Because that's what happens. That's how the world, the enemy, whatever you want to call that,
Yeah.
energy attacks. Because very successful in a professional realm, but then I was suffering on a personal realm,
Okay.
right? Because I am very successful, but I'm juggling now being a mother, a new mother, right? Now a girlfriend, now later on a wife, and having a very work intense career. That's a lot. It was a lot because not that I wasn't built for it, but again, I had to pave my own way. So I would pick up
That's interesting.
different ideologies from my mom, who had been successful, dropped out of school, became a CEO. Now she's a president of a regional chain in Chicago, very successful. But that came with a lot of compromises. It came with a lot of missed events and time that you cannot get back.
That's in your pedigree.
It is.
That your mom was able to accomplish those things and overcome some setbacks.
It is.
That obviously was her setup for
Success.
new thing and obviously success.
Correct.
How did you being a new mother and female play into your role in achieving some of those goals? Did any of those attributes of being a mother, being a wife,
Oh, it
any of
definitely
that
motivated
help?
me. Oh, it did. It did both.
Okay.
It helped. It was pros and it was cons. So the pros is that when I look at my son, that is the only motivation.
Yeah, running
I
around.
say that's the only motivation that I need every day.
Every day.
Every day that I wake up, when he wakes up, I tell people, as long as I have breath in my body, that's my responsibility. And when he wakes up, that's a fresh new opportunity at whatever I have to do that day, by the grace of God. So, and that's a gift. So I was motivated by just seeing my son. Everything that I did, I worked diligently for my family.
That's good.
I did. Everything I did, I was, I had, moments where would be told that I was selfish in my process, but it was never my intent to be selfish. My intent was I was just a hard worker.
Yeah.
I was really, really a hard worker, but I had issues juggling how to balance. That's where I suffered.
Understood.
My weakness was I couldn't balance everything. But, support needs to help you balance, right?
Yeah.
Whether it been my other half, my family, you need support to help balance.
Yeah.
Until you can have a knowledge of yourself and kind of learn what your triggers are and what makes you tick and how to do things the right way and put things into priority, it's hard to balance by yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
I
It
agree.
is. It's very hard to balance.
I don't have children, but I can understand how.
You got a puppy? That's a child. We have a puppy now.
Oh, really?
So I have a second child. Oh yes.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh
two
yes.
then.
Okay.
I
So
do have a dog
Okay.
and
So
a
that's
puppy.
a baby. That's a baby. That's a full-time responsibility. But it's that was motivation, right? At the time, like I said, we can get into that later. I was married, and when I got married, I said, because I came from a broken family, I was going to get married one time. I said that to myself.
Yeah.
I believed it when I said it.
Yeah.
However, it didn't work out that way.
Cards didn't fall that way.
No, it didn't. But it was, I now know I could have changed some things, but work too. I was working and it compromised with whatever excuse I can give, it would be an excuse.
Yeah.
The reality of the situation was, yes, everything that I worked for, all of that did help into the role as a mother, being motivated by my son. But some of the challenges was missing out on opportunities that I really didn't want to miss out on. Or going to work, coming home tired, still having to be a wife, still having to be a mother and commit and give the same, if not more, to my family who needs me than to my workplace. Correct, right? It's very hard.
That's a struggle.
It is a struggle.
I'm not apologetic about who I deem as someone that I watch a lot, which is Gary Vee, and a lot of his is kindness and happiness, and do what's happy and not judging yourself. And listening to him has helped retrain some of that, my process and the way that I think about things, but it's also helped me identify some of the things that he's been saying, things that I understand, things that I think the same way, but he was able to vocalize it in a way that's like, okay, I think that way. He was able to label it. But to what you're saying, it's like being selfish, obviously wanting to have that career, wanting to have that family, and juggling both, which I can totally understand being very difficult on the male side, but I can only imagine it being difficult on the female side and all the things that come along with that.
Yeah, because you got you guys have to just, even on the male, because I have to keep in mind, I have to think how you think, and we're different. We're wired, but you work. I have to provide, right? Because in my head, I have a husband, but I was built to, like, I saw that in my family, right? My mom and my dad, both. But go to work, come home, help with homework, cook, you know, and make intimate time for your family, your fiance, your husband, or whatever.
Yeah.
Make time for yourself, because that was another piece. I was missing out on time for myself. So if I could give myself nothing, I had nothing else to give. My son or my husband, or those around me that found value in me. You know, but what I did do, like I said, that was a challenge. But again, I've learned from that now. I know what not to do going forward. And that's a blessing. It is. It's like I said, it's unfortunate because through the psyche of that, now I have to be cognizant of my son's psyche, who's affected by it. But I give him that platform. I give him the outlet to just speak. And to write or whatever, however he needs to communicate. And that, again, mental issues are real. One thing that we have to do is counseling. We like to shy away from that, but Caleb and I go to counseling. We're not above counseling, right? We're not.
I've had my own share with
people
mental
hide
illness
from it. People hide from it though. But again, if we're all honest about it, I think everybody has a little bit of mental illness, because mental illness, in a sense, is just you not taking care of yourself. That's mental. The moment you let your mind, your body down, because mentally you're stressed out, or you got too much anxiety, or you got too much on your plate, you're not taking care of yourself. So you're mentally ill. Your mental is affecting every aspect of your body to do anything else.
And your family, but it also, I know we kind of talking about the mental health now, but you know, you really have to, one, like you're saying, take care of yourself, take care of your own sanity, but also going back to what we said a lot earlier, just the culture in which we grew up in the household, and being a man or being a female and not sharing. I think now we're in a space in this world to where it's okay to share and open up and be a little bit more vocal about those things, which is a testament to a lot of people that we listen to, either directly or indirectly. But just being able in this day and age to say the word mental illness, and you're not shunned or scared to even say it, says a lot. So obviously, all the job that you led up until now.
Well, I guess I had so Radio One, and back in that process, what I did learn to be successful in all of those roles, from a personal and a professional end, I needed mentors.
Gotcha.
That was very important for me.
Tell me how you feel about mentors. Like, who are your mentors? What do you think about mentors? How do you view mentors?
It is a must.
Understood.
It's a must. Because again, I don't know everything, and I'll give you an example, because we'll fast forward. So after I left Channel 2, again, I somebody reached out and said Radio 1, which is 97.9 The Box, Magic 102, and now Radio Now. It used to be Classic Boom back in the day, but was looking for a digital integrated sales manager, and I was like, oh wow, cool. That's kind of what I started over here. Blah blah. I did digital, right? A little bit of TV, now radio. So I feel like, oh, I'm kind of
let me start
full circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So exactly. So I looked at that opportunity. Everything was going well at Channel 2. Wasn't pushed to leave, but I was in a sales role. Now I was going up to a leadership role.
Okay.
So I took the opportunity to leap and lead. Leap and lead was what I led with, and that's what I did. But in doing that, as soon as I got to Radio 1, something was very different. I was in a conference room about this size and met the sales staff, and that sales staff is very veteran and tenured. So I was a young leadership manager. At the time, one of the only women on the sales side. I worked with 3 men.
Was your role new to the company?
It wasn't new. It had been there, but that position had been vacant for 13 months before I took it. They were really trying to find the best qualified person. Correct. So when I came in, again, new, a B sales staff, veterans, young people, new people, but mostly veteran staff. So older tenured reps were there, and I was the only woman on the sales side. I worked with all men. That's pretty tough in itself, right? In a sense, because like I got males at home, I got a son and a husband.
Yeah.
Now I gotta work all these workmen around here, right?
Yeah.
So I had, my general manager was a man, my director of sales was a man, and then the sales manager was a man. And I was just, hey, little lady. But I was very confident in who I was as a woman. Mm-hmm. So important. The gender didn't really matter as it related to what I brought to the table, right? And how I did my work, how I carried myself. Mm-hmm. But it was very important to have mentors. But back to my point, conference room this size, everybody, and I was like, wow. Veteran staff was like, you get there, you're the young person, people attitudes, listen, you don't know more than me, you're younger than me, right? And I remember having a one-on-one with one of the employees, and I said, it's funny because they were pretty much told me that was their attitude. You can't teach me nothing.
Wow.
And I appreciated them being that candid.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did know where they stood. But not only that, what was ironic about that situation, that same employee was one of my top employees. But we later developed a relationship outside of work, inside of work, but we learned from each other. Mm-hmm. Because what we both quickly realized was that, and I said, I hate that you feel that way, because that's a feeling. You don't know what I can teach. You don't know what assets that I bring to the table that you may not know. Yeah. You've been in your role and you're an expert in your role.
Yep.
And I don't know your role. So you have a lot, and I said, and I switched it just like that. There's a lot you can teach me. I'm willing to learn. But I'm sure I have some things that I can teach you. Are you willing to learn?
And what was the response to that?
And absolutely, because at the end of the day, I put it back on you.
Yeah.
Right? That's like, we're human beings, we're two people, but we're adults. Uh-huh. But at the end of the day, you can't think in this world that you know everything. I think I know everything. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. That's why knowledge is power.
Yep.
And we have to go seek that information, right? And Jake would tell you, my husband at the time, he was a knowledge seeker. Yeah. I was like, oh, tell me. He's like, you got to know it for yourself. No, tell me, I'm too busy. But I do understand that process now, right? You got to know it for yourself. You got to be able to understand and articulate it so that then you can give it out to somebody else.
No, I agree.
But that was important because my mentors, I didn't know it all.
Who were some of your mentors?
One of my mentors, actually, she's a mental health advocate. Her name is Sonia Boyd. She has her own, at the time she was working with the Urgent Psych company. You was aware of it. I told you guys, invited a few events in the past. But she's still a mentor. Now she's branched off. She's into her own podcast, got State of Mind. And she works on the mind and evolution of discovering your best self.
Okay.
But she was always a mentor in both my personal and my professional. And it's important because she's older. Mm-hmm. Right, so that's wisdom that I'm getting from her, right? And I have been blessed to say, like, oh my God, thank you, Sonia, like, great, right? And then I have Cherie Lawal Price. She's a mentor. She was at Unity National Bank, just a good friend. We did some business together. We had our own dealings together, and just another person. Actually, she's 2 years younger than me. So I have a good mix, 2 years younger than me, but she's, again, wise,
but
been around, educated.
You use them as people that you can bounce ideas off of?
I use them as people that I can confide in.
Okay.
I use them as people I can bounce ideas off of. And when I say my mentors are like, I tell people you have different level how you can classify people.
Yeah.
A lot of my mentors are people that I consider close like friends, or closer than a friend, because I have them for these reasons, right?
Yep.
But I can also pick up the phone, like I said, both personal and professional. And if I need them, they're there.
They're there for you.
They're there. And it's the side of no questions asked. It's because it's you, Erica. Mm-hmm. It's you. We'll deal with everything else on the back end. I just lost my dad. I called one of them just venting, just out of shock. And it was just like, what do you need?
Yeah.
They didn't.
Just
what do you
need? What do you need?
What do you need?
Listen to you.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And and as I said, that's the fortunate part about building relationships, both professionally and personally.
How important was the mentorship that you received to your success today?
Very, because some of those things, and they're still my mentors. I don't think mentors go away, right? I even and she's not a mentor, but she's a guided person that I follow for information and seek. Was Clorinda McGrady, Tracy McGrady's wife. Mm-hmm. I went to a lot of her self-empowerment things. Right when I was dealing with some of the struggling inner workings of dealings with my marriage, I was going to some of her classes, listening to some of the things she said, trying to apply, and that's kind of where the marriage side felt, because we would say and want to do, but I was feeling in the application side.
Got the actual doing the
Yes,
getting your hands
yes,
dirty.
and I was, not again. We both have faults,
Yeah.
but mine was, it was hard to apply because I was still struggling with balance, and then there was some other personal things that I'm like, I need help. It's weighing too heavy on me, and I was at a breaking point, right? And I think everybody has one.
Yeah.
Well, that's just my. I
I
don't
mean,
agree,
everybody has a
but
breaking point
everybody,
somewhere.
people handle it the way they handle it, and I chose to handle it the way I handle it.
Mhm.
But again, a lesson because I've learned through it. And God's still blessing. He's still working, right? So I was at Radio 1. I was there for 2.5 years. Had a great run.
Mhm.
Great run. Love. A lot of Radio 1, not me, but as a company, was experiencing a lot of turnover.
Mhm.
Very competitive in the market, fighting for market share. iHeart is one of the competitors. 93.7 The Beat came into the market.
Yep.
Through a monkey wrench, right? And it just, it took some time. But again, hey, shout out to 97.9 and the box and that whole family over there. They're doing well. But I was able to be very successful over there and build some tenured relationships then. But it was then when I decided, or when I started to feel more of my spirit, intuition, telling me there's something bigger
for you.
for me.
Mhm.
And this is where my process met my purpose.
Talk about it.
My process met my purpose, because my husband, Jason was like, "What's your purpose? What you trying to do? Which one?" Listen, I say I find fulfillment in helping people get to where they want to get. If they're stuck, I help them get to execution.
Mhm.
That is a fulfillment that I feel by helping somebody else that otherwise they didn't know how to help themselves.
Yeah.
That was purposeful to me, because God put that on my heart. That was through me doing it, meditating. God put that on my heart, and I find fulfillment is a joy that feels different, right? So I was working, very successful Radio 1. My entrepreneurial hat came on, because again, I'm still working as an entrepreneur. These people have to go out and sell. I had a lot of direct reports that reported to
Mhm.
me. There was a lot of responsibility.
How many
But
did you
it
have at the
didn't-
time?
God, Radio 1, maybe 17 at the most.
Okay.
17 max.
people reporting to
Yes,
you.
at one time.
Got you.
And it was, meetings, constant meetings with your employees, constant meeting with your clients, constant meetings with the inner workings of our staff.
A lot going on every day.
Going on every day. Again, don't forget home,
Yep.
right? So there was a lot of burnout with Radio 1, and that's really what and there was some internal challenges with the company as well, with leadership. And unfortunately, when I left in December, right
What
before,
year were you in now?
2017.
2017.
So I was there. I started in 2015.
Okay.
I left in December of 2017, right at the beginning of the new year, really, of 2018, January. I was out of there. But they started new leadership. Pam McKay, woman, GM, great. I love, give props to my woman. She's awesome, by the way. Came in right in September.
Okay.
End of September-ish maybe, but I was already on the cusp of having conversations that I may be transitioning out of Radio 1, unbeknownst to her. She was new. I had an issue with previous leadership, how
Mhm.
things were handled. And again, I'm working my butt. I had been in a leadership role. I was in my role, but I was also in a hybrid role as a sales manager. So
Okay.
I was pulling extra additional duties,
Yeah, a lot on
with
your
no
plate.
director of sales. Then the actual general sales manager resigned, so it was literally just me and another sales manager running the entire sales side of a station, which typically takes about 4 people to do. So
Wow.
you're now down to 2 people. For almost a year I did this.
Wow. So obviously that was a lot of work for you.
A lot.
And so now we're obviously now in 2018.
Yeah, so we're
So
28,
around
we're in
January,
2018.
February.
Yeah, we're and I'm getting to that breaking point. I'm like, okay, I'm working my off ass, because when it doesn't matter, I give 110, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm here. It's a choice. Remember, I said everything's a choice. I
Your
still
name is on
chose
the
to.
line.
Not only
Your
that,
reputation.
I chose to come here today.
Yep.
So I'm gonna make the best out of whatever's being presented to me today, right? But it was a lot going on mentally, right? Anxiety was out, dealing with home, and I said to myself, even with that, I was like, not only that, I started to pay attention a little bit too with making money, like numbers. Like I was like, oh wow, the company's making this amount of money, and I'm making this percentage of that amount of money, but I feel that I'm working this amount of time.
Now
So I feel that.
entrepreneurial hat
Yeah,
started to
remember I
put on
told
and say,
you.
okay,
There was an imbalance, and
Yeah.
that kind of, it started just kind of to reveal. But again, I started to find I wasn't so much focused on the money as much as, again, my spirit was talking to me. that purposefulness was talking to me. I would talk to people and consult, and I would get that feedback naturally. You should be a consultant.
Yeah.
You should do this. And they were picking up on my natural abilities. And I said, yeah, maybe I should try to do this. So again, now mind you, I've been building a network because I believe in networking.
Yeah.
I'm a network
Since you've been in Houston, you've been building a
network queen. I will go to a meeting. I will work a room. I will touch hands, shake babies, kiss babies. I will do it all.
Yeah.
Pets, it doesn't matter.
Building relationships.
Building relationships is important because you can be, I'm not from this city.
Yeah.
But again, this is my city. I feel like this is home now, right? Because I've made it home.
Absolutely.
I went out there. I've developed those relationships. Exactly. And I was doing well. But it came to a point I was like, I can't do this. And like I said, I had an opportunity to work with Slim Thug, Boss Life Ball, and I worked with some others. I worked with Diddy, contract work, just different little bitty things started to just line up.
So make it clear for everybody. I want to bring value to anyone that's listening. What is it that you're doing today?
So today my role is, right now, as it stands, I am an independent marketing consulting. I have my own independent marketing consulting firm.
And this started
It started in 2017.
Okay.
Right? It launched, but I didn't really go full-fledged until 2018.
So 2018 is when you got serious behind it. You started to put all your eggs in your basket. You started betting on yourself and said,
everything
all the
under
stuff
my
that
name,
under your name.
everything.
And what's the name of the company?
Tart Enterprises. So
And-
my maiden last name is Tart.
Okay.
Initially when I thought about doing this, I brainstormed about having a nonprofit of some sort. It was talking about teaching, advocating, and redefining tradition, which was my last name spelled out. And it was going to be the umbrella. You start thinking like, oh my, because again, I'm a marketing consultant. Yeah. All my hats was like, okay, I can do this. It's going to be the hub, and I'm going to break down all these businesses. But then, like I said, Target Enterprises became a 360-degree marketing consulting firm. Okay. I can consult with anybody about their marketing strategy, right? And I provide a solution for what to do, what's next. And I'm not talking about short term. I'm talking about where do you want to see your business in the next 3 to 5 years? What do those projections look like? What should you do from a marketing standpoint?
Doing a deep dive on their business and getting them to where they want to go.
Where your key performance indicators indicating that you're going to get the best return on your investment through these sorts of marketing solutions that I can offer you, whether it be through traditional or non-traditional forms of media, whether it's through digital media, whether it's through my contacts, my affiliates, whatever it is. Yep. I am here to consult so that your business grows for the next forever, really, but it's a starting point.
So you threw out some names out there that are very high class individuals that millions of people would recognize if they see them on television or social media. Yeah. And anyone, I believe, that looks at your social media can see some of those individuals that you're with, whether it's a picture or a video or consulting. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how you help them and how you got there, because obviously you didn't turn on the lights and says, okay, now it's Erica Target Enterprises.
No.
Oh, all of a sudden people come beat down my door.
Not only that, people, like I told you before, we just talked about it. People pay attention.
Yep.
So again, that's really what it was. I worked at a radio station. Again, when you're in these opportunities, you don't take light of them. I was blessed to have an opportunity to work at a radio station, the #1 radio station in Houston, a legacy station. Many people come up there every day with resumes, applications, trying to get into that position or that field or that company.
Yes.
So I was blessed, right? And I didn't take it lightly. So every company that I have had, I've built those relationships, and I didn't take it lightly. So again, the Slim thing, he's a rap artist, right? But not only in rap artist, he has things that he does in the foundation. He has,
he
a
nonprofit.
Homes, right? Yeah, he has Boss Life Construction. He's a nonprofit. He has Boss Life Clothing. Boss Life Management, it's an entity, right? So again, I knew him from radio, but then an opportunity came where they were coming in, and it was like, my mentor was like, hey, I'm helping them with relationships.
Yep.
Everything is relationships.
All circling back to relationships.
I'm helping them with Boss Life Construction, and they have Boss Life Ball, and I know your new business is going to align where they need to go in the future. And I said, oh, the future.
Start thinking big.
Yeah, let's think bigger. I had a meeting, sat down, me and the guys. I'm like, and it was good for me because I was used to dealing with guys, right? Yeah. I came from a sales staff leadership with 3 males. When I met with Slim and 3 of his partners, all males. Guess what?
Honed in on your skills.
Honed in on my skills.
Sharp, so
Erica's very confident, and guess they didn't give me no shit. They gave people shit, but they didn't give me no shit. And it developed a relationship for the long run. There's been, like right now, it's 3 years now going on Boss Life Ball. And this was the first year that I've kind of scaled back a little bit just due to personal things, passing on my dad, my separation. But the relationship side is great. For example, I pick up the phone, I call Slim. Puma calls me and say, hey, I need Slim to do this. I can pick up the phone direct, have a conversation, whatever you need. It's respect, right? Because at the end of the day, I valued their business. I bought more to their business in the sense of helping their business grow. They need sponsors, let's get sponsors, right?
Yep.
We want to support the cause, let's get out here in the streets, let's have a back to school event, let's pull in our community, let's go have meetings at these community centers in 3rd Ward, in 5th Ward. Let's go do it. Let's go meet with the mattress company to talk about giving back mattresses for kids during the holiday seasons because some of them are, don't have beds. You have to be in the trenches, right? And they respect somebody that can. I'm not just because Erica has grown levels. Erica don't have a big head. Erica is still Erica at the core, and her value and her purpose is still to help people move from stagnant to execution. How do I do that? I'm still me. I'm still consistent, and I still found value in being a quality person.
It's all sort of same when you started. Quality.
It's the same to the core. And like I said, and I get people to help me around me, right? Because when people believe in you, they buy into you, right? I have a huge support group, and I will be honest to tell you, a lot wouldn't be possible without the support group. I have an intern, very smart young lady, University of Houston student. She's studying to be in PR herself. I've had friends that I met through other coincidences and people that are now working with me part-time to help execute my events. Some have catered my events, and it's just like a family affair. If I pick up the phone, I need these, they're there.
There for you.
I work for Attorney Payne. Congratulations to him. He has the Payne Law Firm. He's now one of the nominated ones for the Pinnacle this year. Very successful personal injury attorney. I've been putting on his events now going on 3 years. Very successful. We started, at a smaller venue. Last year we had a bigger venue. The Majestic Metro, Sylvester Turner was there. We get the people to come out and show up.
I've seen that. I saw that.
But it's rewarding to me because again, it's not for the cameras. It's more for the benefit that I see that business is doing. How is Payne? Because Payne could be employing my son down the line, right? He's developing jobs right now for people that are at U of H, right? Some of his money goes into those schools and those charities or wherever it may be. Same thing with Slim, right? And that's why I say I think it's important for us in our community just to give back, share information, and support one another.
Absolutely.
But there's a number. Like I said, that list can go on. I have my website. It's www.tartenterprise.com.
Give us all your information. If somebody is looking to accelerate their business and come up with a more developed marketing scheme and think about the next 3 to 5 years.
Absolutely.
How can they get into contact with you? How can they reach you?
Best thing to do is to definitely reach out to my website. My website is www.tartenterprise.com.
Okay.
And on my website, you can contact us. There's a contact form you can fill out. It comes directly to me as well as my intern. We both get it.
Okay.
We don't want to miss any lines of communication, right? And also on my website, it tells you every aspect of business consulting and marketing consulting that I do. So it breaks it down whether it's event, whether it's nonprofit. And then I also show you who are my partners that I partner with so that you can do some research. I don't want people to just, if you haven't encountered Erica, like you know me, go by what I'm telling you. I want you to look me up. I want you to get a reference. I want to be able to send you over my references and you make sure that it's the best fit for you because to be honest with you, I myself have not worked with people because that wasn't quality for me.
Gotcha.
It wasn't about the money. I've turned down business and it was because of my reputation or because of what I heard their reputation was, and I had to learn that sometimes through the hard way. I was also at a point, Latoria Lemon, she's a well-known publicist here in Houston, a good friend of mine. She guided me through the ropes or even up until the point that I left Radio 1. And we worked together on certain projects, but she let me learn some things, and some things she was like, you're going to figure that out. And I'm glad she did because, again, you have to learn some things on your own.
It's a part, obviously the name of the show is Processing the Process, but everything is a process. That's a great name.
Man, you tell me this real quick. I know you've been asking me. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead,
Processing the Process. How did you come up with the name? How did that ideology come about?
That's a good question. So, like everyone, when you're on social media, you have to come up with a name, like
Yeah.
something catchy. It doesn't have to be. It could be your name. It could be anything.
Right.
For me, I did go through a few of them, but at one point, being that my name is Melvin, and sometimes people call me Mel, which actually is a play on words, with
Sure.
actually like a letter in the Mel, M-A-I-L, Mel.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously my name is Melvin, M-E-L-V-I-N. So I was thinking processing the Mel is my Instagram. So if you go to processing the Mel, that's me. Now when I start thinking about this concept of this show and this podcast, I want to have a show, have a conversation with something that is true to myself,
Sure.
a conversation that I can have that I'm going to actually listen and understand and engage in, but something that people that's listening and watching can get something out of. And the one thing that I always saw was, we always hear about the finish line. We always hear about the Kobe's. We always hear about
LeBrons,
the LeBrons, the Tyler Perry's. Like anyone that is successful, and I'm talking about the major individuals in society that we can turn to now.
Yeah.
But I always knew that there was always a process behind that. There's no finish line that they saw. We saw the game winning shot, but we didn't necessarily see
The work.
the work they put in, the 5 a.m. gym workouts, or Tyler Perry sleeping in his car. We know the stories, but we didn't see that. So for me, it was like processing the process. A play on words with my Instagram handle and the name that I
Sure.
use, but I wanted to go behind that. And if you ever recall, I'll send it to you or I'll post it on the video so you can see it. But there's so many different memes out there, and one of them is two characters. There's a character A and B at the start line.
Right.
There's a character A and B at the finish line. But within that picture and within that meme, there's a direct line for one character going from A to B, straight line. From here to success, finish line.
Bam.
But on the left, there's another character with a squiggly line, a dead end, turn around, he's going in circles before he reaches the finish line. And that's what this show is about. It's about the ups and downs and the struggles to show that, hey.
And rest assured, that's the reality. That's the true, authentic reality of life, period. Life is built that way.
Every single thing is a process. And if you talk to anyone successful, if you watch anyone's interviews over the course, just watch 20 hours of anybody's interview that you admire, you want to be like, oh, I'm Muhammad Ali, Diddy, you name it.
Yeah.
At some point, they're going to talk about the journey, the process, falling in love with that process, and that word kept coming up. So for me, it's like, if you fall in love with the process, you're going to succeed. The problem is you have to be consistent and you can't waver. I'm in sales. I've been in sales for many years, and the reason why some people aren't successful is not because they don't know what to do, it's because they stop doing what they should do because they don't see the success in a short amount of time. It's a marathon.
And not only that, in sales, like you said, even back then, it's, we have employees, they always say, well, I am successful overall, but in sales, it's always like, what are you doing for me now, right? And that's we get hit with that. But it's something you said, and I appreciate it because we both know we love food, right? Matter of fact, they have a block party today, turkey leg hut.
Yeah.
This is a prime example.
Prime. I want to get them on the show too.
You can. I'll reach out to Nakia and Lynn for you. They will be great. I know they would do the show because they have a story. They have a process. And they've had that squiggly line that you just talked about, processing the process.
Absolutely.
And what's so important about it, and I say that is to say, again, we have to share it because this is our testimony that's going to help somebody else, right? And we need to be real so that my son or your kids, they don't think it's just that straight line. Because if we do, we set them up for failure.
Absolutely.
And that's not what we're supposed to do. So and like I said, I love the fact, and I'm on social media quite a bit. But one thing that I like about the Turkey Leg Hut, Nakia and Lynn, owners over there, is that they don't hide it. They show you. They show you the process. And they keep it real. Y'all think late nights, early mornings, I think that's their slogan. I think it's one of the great things. Late nights and early mornings. And that's really the grind. Like I will tell you, as an entrepreneur, my sleep pattern, when y'all sleep, I'm up.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I am up.
Yeah.
3 o'clock, I'm up. My son probably because I'm working, baby.
Yeah.
Don't get it, but that's just what it takes.
Yeah, go.
And I never realized this. I was like, when you have your own business, it's gonna be it's harder to maintain.
Everything is on you.
Everything. Your risk is on you. When it falls, it crumbles, it's on you, right? So you have to be willing to accept. But again, everything goes back to your mind. So again, when I asked you about the how you came up with the name of it, you had to even process that here.
Yeah.
To get it out here.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal right there. Like
I
that
appreciate
is how brilliant the mind works. That's amazing.
I
to
appreciate
me.
it. Well, I'm trying. You know, I see an opportunity to sit down and learn from individuals like yourself,
Yeah.
and hopefully in the future for many more individuals that I'm sitting down with and have the
Yeah.
opportunity of learning their story
Sure.
and their journey. But this show is a process. You know, my career, my job is everything is a process, and the more that I can learn from other individuals,
Yeah.
because obviously everyone learns a little bit different.
Sure.
I like viewing content, whether it's in the video form and sitting down with individuals.
That's
So for
Caleb.
me to sit down with people and talk about it, it's helping me develop my process
That's
and
good.
develop it. So
And that's what it should be. Everything is generated on content. Like I said, I'm in marketing.
yeah,
And honestly, so again, if they need, anything marketing now, that's where they can reach me. Again, I also have social media. It's MsEricandley. So Miss Erica Candley, that's on Instagram. That's my primary point.
okay,
Again, my website is a contact, and then I have my business information listed as far as my phone number where they can reach me. And then, of course, my email is erica@tartenterprises.com. Last but not least, like currently, so, like you said, I've always been that go, 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 go.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I went through my divorce, and I had to take a few steps back, right?
understood. Yep.
And at the end of the day, I still don't. I'm saying I'm taking steps back because I feel that's also part of the process. That somewhere along the line, I didn't learn lessons that I should have learned then. So now God's just bringing me back so
Yeah.
that I could learn,
Yeah.
so that hopefully it doesn't affect my child. But currently, so I'm still doing my business stuff, right, full time, and it's hard because again, now I'm a single mother.
Yeah.
Caleb has, but it's a lot more on me at one time. When I was struggling before to balance, I have no choice but to learn how to balance, and
Yeah.
it's given me that because now I'm much more strategic in what I do, where I go, who I'm with, all of it,
Yeah.
right? Because now it's more on my plate. But I recently took a job. I know some people mention it. I say, being an entrepreneur and not having benefits is hard.
Yeah.
Okay, Trump, you can, I thought about going to Canada, but hey, I'm in America now. We need to vote, people. We need to exercise the right to vote. So I will go ahead and say, it's coming up. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But I took a position with United.
Okay.
I got a job at United Airlines, so I'm excited about it.
Congratulations.
Yes, excited. So big picture was this. It's like, okay, matter of fact, I had got a job last year with the airline, but then I went through my divorce and had to put that on hold because my family is primarily not here.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have anybody to really help me with Caleb in a sense.
Okay.
So kind of just took the years to start diving into my business, kind of picked up some other, bigger deals and some contracts and partnered with some other partners, and it's been fine. It's been able to sustain.
That's good.
Like I said, it's ups and downs when you're an entrepreneur.
Yep.
But I knew I needed benefits, and I've always been, what's next? I want to see the world.
Yeah.
I've always been that. I'm out. I'm a Sagittarius by nature. We love to be out. We're a free
travel,
spirit.
you
I want
wanna
to
go.
travel. I want to experience, and not only for me, but my son.
Yeah.
So when the United job became an opportunity, I said, you know what? I have the opportunity to now do several things with this platform.
Yeah.
So United is, I got the job, but then they were on a holding freeze until business needs for next training. So it's supposed to be fall.
Okay.
So I should be starting any time now, and I'm excited about it. Possibly relocating, that is a possibility.
Okay.
I still have my home here in Houston, but I looked at it in several different ways. I said, okay, great. I have an opportunity now to travel the world, great benefits, great pay.
Yeah.
And my child can do it with me,
Awesome.
right? In a sense where, hey, you can see the world. And a lot of kids, they don't have
They
that
don't.
opportunity,
I
right?
mean, I didn't go out of the country till I was in my 20s.
See, whoa, wait, yeah. So, yeah, we want him to do a little head start on that.
Yeah.
But then I also said from a business standpoint, I can also, where I'm in a sense local, have some regional and have affiliated or contracted out some national contracts. I can now meet people from all over the world.
Continue to do what you've been doing since day one.
On a bigger scale.
Absolutely.
So when we talked about thinking big, I'm now thinking bigger by using my platform, but now being an influence outside of my circle. So I work today here, I'm an influencer. So now, even though people tell me about, being a marketing consultant, I talk about being an influential marketing consultant or being an influencer at anything that I do, because I have the power to influence people just based on my name and my brand and my reputation.
Absolutely.
So I think that is a key to success now, and I'm grateful for that next journey, and we'll see where it takes us, because I think Tart Enterprises as a conglomerate, hey, I want to be able to.
It can be big.
Yeah, it can
But,
be.
I mean,
it will be.
again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for
Thanks
sharing
for
your
having me.
story. You are still in your journey and still in your process, and everything is one day at a time. And I appreciate you sharing
Facts.
all of that and being very candid. I will say one thing that we do here at Processing the Process is give the opportunity, because we know that content lives forever, especially when it's online, but also speaking things into existence.
Facts. I
So
believe in it.
I want you to give us two individuals. One is going to be business, one is going to be personal.
Sure.
I want you to speak into existence people that you want to meet on a business level, rather it's somebody you want to do business with, someone you want to be a partner, and someone selfish, like you just want to meet that person just because we don't know who's going to see this and hear this. Like I always say, it could be next week, it could be 2 years from now, but someone may be like, oh, I saw Erica said she wanted to meet such and such. That's my cousin. Like,
Yeah, right.
let me just DM her real quick and set that up. So who are some individuals or individual in business that you want to do business with? That's like a well, or maybe not a well, but it's like, I really want to do business with this individual or company. Do you have anybody in your sights?
In my sights, yeah. I mean, that's a big, broad question,
Yes,
right?
it is.
It's huge. So,
Very
recently
broad.
I've been working a lot with this, what you may have heard, One Africa music festival. I did it. I met these guys back when I worked at radio. So I do want to work with. Been working with them. I've been invited to some opportunities, but I kind of want to get more into international.
Okay, more international business.
Yes.
No matter what
Because
that is. Just a little
because
bit
I
more
think there's some
international.
value there. For example, I got hit with Africa is building its first Uber boat transportation
Okay.
system. It's something new. It's somewhere out in Lagos. But that's like I want to expand to broader. That brings the U.S. and Africa specifically together.
Okay.
I am working with some projects specifically around Africa, just based on those relationships that could be huge. I will, in a sense, I'm trying to, in a sense, without giving it away, I'm saying it here, so if it happens, it comes after this, just know I said it here. Trying to, exclusively breaking on process to process, broker Afro Beats radio station here in Houston.
Amazing.
Houston is a big market, one of the third largest cities, right? Almost second now. But it does not have its own Afrobeats radio station. A lot of the radio stations may play some Afrobeats music, typically when it's featured with an American artist. But some of these artists are phenomenal. They don't get the radio play standalone and outside of their own streaming application or online. But I feel this market, especially having the amount of Africans, specifically Nigerians here in this marketplace, should have.
And it can thrive in
Yes,
this
and
environment.
it's just going to do so much for the community here as a whole. So I'm working on a few different projects to make this happen behind the scenes.
Awesome.
And I think there's a benefit for here, but I also think there's a better benefit to help where we're from, which is Africa, right? Like to bring it back there.
Yeah.
So that is one thing I've also, personally, I've never met, but I want to meet a few people, honestly. I've always been amazed by Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, because
That's a big one.
yeah,
Yes.
I've always been amazed by someone that is that talented, that have went through their life with no sight,
Yeah.
but it's just the value, that person has, and just in their own life, just to be happy and to not give up and to pursue their dreams and to be one of the baddest people to ever
Absolutely.
do it.
Persevere. He's a legend.
Yeah, I love that.
Absolutely.
I would love to one day meet Stevie Wonder. Is a person that I would want to meet. I definitely also want to meet Michelle Obama. I think she's just a bad sister, bro. She bad. She bad
A
sister.
great book.
I
that
mean,
came
I've
out,
seen
too.
her. Yeah, I haven't read the book, but I've seen her out.
Yeah.
Just I want that personal one-on-one with her.
Time to,
yeah. Just because again, you're married to a president, right?
Yeah.
And you're a mother, and then you have your own path of success that you have to
Going
do.
back to what
It's
you were
just
talking about,
it's just
juggling that.
it's a lot.
It is.
And for you to be able to stand and withstand all of that to maintain your marriage, to be a good leader in the White House, outside the White House, in your community. It's
and
a
do
lot.
it with grace.
And
do it with
poise,
grace
and class.
Absolutely.
I mean, classy. I definitely want to meet her.
Well, we're gonna get on that. So it's one, if anyone is out there watching and listening, if you have any international relationships, please, you know how to contact Erica.
That's right.
As well as if anyone at any point in time hears this,
Yeah.
please do not be shy about it. We are trying to connect her with Stevie Wonder and Miss Michelle Obama.
Facts.
Those are two big names. It'll be a blessing for you to have the opportunity to sit down and talk to them and pick their brain. But
yeah.
Again, thank you so much for sitting down and sharing your story and your process and where you are. And I know it's just the beginning.
And it is. And not only that, we just got to remember, too, the process changes.
Absolutely.
So you have to be willing to adapt and evolve with the change. It's a process, and that's what the definition of it is.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Awesome.